constitutional obligations, and due process. Law enforcement officers operate within a robust legal framework defined principally by constitutional obligations, notably the due process protections outlined in the United States Constitution. The 5th and 14th Amendments specifically mandate that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, creating direct obligations on the conduct of law enforcement. This constitutional safeguard underscores the imperative for officers to conduct investigations and enforcement activities with meticulous adherence to legal standards, transparency, and procedural fairness. Due process, as applied to law enforcement activities, includes obligations such as proper notification of rights, fair treatment during investigations, and lawful collection of evidence. Central to these obligations is the protection against arbitrary actions by officers and ensuring truthful reporting and testimony. Officers must conduct themselves in a manner that ensures the integrity of evidence, respects individuals' constitutional rights, and maintains transparency in their investigative procedures. Violations of due process not only harm individual cases, but also erode broader judicial legitimacy. Further constitutional protections include the 4th Amendment, which explicitly safeguards citizens against unreasonable searches and seizures. This places clear constraints on law enforcement practices, requiring strict adherence to warrant requirements and probable cause standards. Officers must demonstrate complete candor when providing affidavits or testimony to establish probable cause for searches or arrests, ensuring that judicial authorizations are based on truthful, complete, and reliable information. Misrepresentations or omissions in affidavits can lead to unlawful seizures and suppression of evidence, severely compromising criminal cases and officers' credibility. Brady v. Maryland, legal precedents. The landmark Supreme Court decision in Brady v. Maryland, 1963, significantly transformed legal expectations surrounding transparency and disclosure in the criminal justice process. Brady established the principle that prosecutors must disclose evidence favorable to the defense if such evidence is material to guilt or punishment. This obligation, known as the Brady Rule, extends implicitly to law enforcement officers, as they are often the primary collectors of evidence and crucial sources of testimonial information. The Brady Rule has critical implications for law enforcement practices. It places a direct responsibility on officers to provide complete, unbiased, and truthful accounts of investigations, documenting all potentially exculpatory information comprehensively. Officers must understand the profound legal and ethical implications of withholding evidence or providing incomplete information to prosecutors, as such actions directly violate constitutional due process guarantees. The failure to uphold Brady obligations has repeatedly led to miscarriages of justice, including wrongful convictions and retrials. Consequently, many jurisdictions now maintain formal Brady lists, databases of officers whose credibility has been compromised due to misconduct, false testimony, or failure to disclose exculpatory evidence. Inclusion on such lists severely impacts an officer's ability to testify credibly, effectively ending their usefulness in criminal prosecutions. Giglio v. United States, expansion of Brady. Building on Brady's foundations, Giglio v. United States, 1972, expanded the scope of mandatory disclosures to include evidence affecting the credibility of government witnesses, including law enforcement officers. Giglio highlighted that prosecutors must disclose any evidence that could impeach a witness's credibility, such as prior misconduct, disciplinary records, or agreements with prosecutors for testimony. This expansion emphasizes an even greater responsibility on officers to maintain impeccable ethical and professional records. Every incident of misconduct or disciplinary action now holds potential legal ramifications for the officer's future courtroom testimony. Transparency in personnel records and disciplinary proceedings has become essential, given their potential materiality in criminal proceedings. The Giglio obligation has introduced critical procedural implications. Prosecutors must systematically review officers' records for potential credibility issues, resulting in comprehensive protocols designed to flag potential Giglio issues proactively. Law enforcement agencies must maintain detailed, transparent records and promptly communicate any credibility concerns to prosecutorial authorities. Failure to do so not only jeopardizes individual cases, but can lead to broader systemic issues, undermining trust in judicial processes and agency credibility. Federal and state statutory obligations. Beyond constitutional and judicial mandates, numerous federal and state statutes explicitly define additional obligations and standards for law enforcement officers concerning truthfulness and disclosure. These statutes address specific procedural requirements, codify ethical obligations, and outline penalties for noncompliance, reinforcing comprehensive accountability frameworks within the law enforcement community. At the federal level, statutes such as 18 U.S.C. Section 1001 criminalize false statements or concealments in federal investigations, explicitly prohibiting officers from knowingly and willfully making materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent statements in official matters. This underscores the federal government's stringent standard for truthfulness, making dishonesty by law enforcement officers prosecutable under federal law. State legislatures similarly maintain robust statutory frameworks addressing law enforcement obligations. Many states require mandatory disclosure of evidence, including exculpatory and impeachment information, under explicit discovery statutes. Violations can result in severe consequences, ranging from suppression of evidence in court to professional disciplinary actions against officers. Furthermore, several states mandate explicit ethical standards and conduct codes, reinforcing legal accountability and promoting ethical integrity within law enforcement. Some states have enacted comprehensive legislation detailing law enforcement accountability and transparency measures, reflecting increased public demands for ethical standards and transparency. Laws requiring agencies to release disciplinary records publicly, enhance transparency in misconduct investigations, and explicit prohibitions against misleading statements in official reports exemplify legislative efforts to reinforce complete candor. Compliance with statutory obligations often involves extensive training and educational programs, ensuring officers understand and internalize legal requirements. Law enforcement agencies are increasingly emphasizing continuous education on ethical standards, constitutional requirements, and statutory obligations, highlighting the importance of truthfulness and transparency at every operational level. In conclusion, the legal frameworks governing law enforcement conduct form a comprehensive system designed to ensure officers uphold the highest standards of truthfulness, transparency, and fairness. Constitutional obligations, reinforced by landmark judicial precedents such as Brady and Giglio, establish clear ethical and legal expectations. Additionally, federal and state statutory obligations provide detailed procedural and ethical guidelines, ensuring law enforcement practices align consistently with democratic principles and societal expectations. Adherence to these frameworks not only preserves individual rights, but also safeguards the integrity and legitimacy of the entire criminal justice system. I am a dedicated author and researcher specializing in the intricate nexus of technology, law, and government. My extensive body of work includes a diverse array of books, scholarly articles, and policy papers that delve into the evolving challenges and opportunities presented by technological advancements within legal and governmental contexts. Through rigorous analysis and insightful exploration, I examine how emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data privacy, and blockchain shape and are shaped by legislative frameworks, regulatory practices, and public policy initiatives. My publications aim to bridge the gap between technical innovation and legal governance, providing comprehensive resources for policymakers, legal professionals, technologists, and academics alike. By addressing critical issues like digital rights, cyber law, technology-driven governance, and the ethical implications of technological integration, my work contributes to the development of informed and adaptive legal systems capable of responding to rapid technological change. I am committed to fostering a deeper understanding of how technology influences governmental operations and legal standards, and vice versa, thereby promoting the creation of robust, equitable, and forward-thinking policies. In addition to my writing, I actively engage with government agencies, legal institutions, and technology firms to offer expertise and collaborate on initiatives that ensure the responsible and effective implementation of technology in public spheres. My dedication to exploring and elucidating the intersections of technology, law, and government underscores my commitment to advancing knowledge and facilitating informed decision-making in an increasingly digitalized world.